my honor to have our mayor and our congressional senator here to come and see the Dr. George Davis Senior Center and talk to some of our seniors and really see what's going on in this particular facility. I am so proud that they came to our site to see what we do here, because we really do receive a lot of support from the federal government and from the city to be able to do the work that we do here. And I'm really proud to have our mayor come. He came here before he was mayor, now he came as the mayor. And I always say he didn't have to be the mayor, he wanted to be the mayor. And we are really, really blessed to have someone who cares that much and really, really wants to make sure that all communities in San Francisco are given the services that they need. So we thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming, and we appreciate everything that you do for us.
Thank you, Cathy. I appreciate you. Thank you, Cathy. Thank you all for coming out. Senator, it's an honor to be with you. Thank you for all that you do for the state of California and for San Francisco. We appreciate it. Listen, this senior center, this George Davis Senior Center, is a perfect example of what we need more of in San Francisco. We need more housing at all levels, low income, middle income, and making sure that we take care of community. We are doing our part in San Francisco with Permit SF, trying to streamline permitting, make sure that we make it easier to build housing throughout this city here in the southeast part of town. This is a wonderful example of what is possible when we work together with our federal partners, state partners, and local partners. And even the dogs are happy today here in San Francisco. So listen, we're happy to take questions, but I want to turn it over to Senator Padilla now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'll try to be brief because it's hard to follow up the conversation that we just had inside with the residents here. So first of all, Cathy, thank you so much for having us and your entire team for everything you do for the residents and for the community at large. And of course, Mr. Mayor, you're still in your honeymoon period. Let's hope it lasts a long, long time. Congratulations on the win and for hitting the ground running on so many of the issues that are important and urgent for the people of San Francisco. We chose to come here today because it's an important message around seniors and around housing specifically, but it's also overly partisan, but I am going to be factual. Senior citizens are the fastest growing population when it comes to those now experiencing homelessness. And if you look at what announcements and attacks and threats we are hearing about at a national level, seniors are getting pummeled. Not only because the cost of everything is going up, you see the impact of the proposed tariffs by Donald Trump, impacting everything from the groceries we buy to the cost of building materials that we need to supply more housing. We're hearing the threats to cutting Social Security and Medicaid. It's the opposite of what our seniors need and deserve. As we were working our way through the room, so many of them worried about what's going to happen to my Social Security and reminding me something I know full well. When you're retired and you're depending on that Social Security, that's not a handout. You paid into Social Security your entire career. Your government made a promise that in retirement you would be able to count on that Social Security to sustain yourself. And we need to make sure that we keep good on that promise. I also want to make it clear we're not here just to be against these bad proposals coming out of the White House and from my Republican colleagues in Congress. We actually do have a proactive and positive agenda when it comes to seniors and housing. Everything at the local level, from reforming the permitting process and expanding the supply of affordable housing, to measures at the federal level like my Housing for All Act that I've introduced the previous session and have reintroduced this session, because we need to be investing more in affordable housing, not less. We need to be providing more vouchers, for example, not fewer, for our communities. We need to invest in solutions with the same urgency and scale that this crisis deserves, not just here in San Francisco, but throughout the state of California and throughout the country. So that's what motivated our visit here today. I want to thank you all for coming out and sharing a few minutes with us. And yes, open it up for a few questions, but Charles is going to moderate.
Senator Lurie, what message do you have, I guess, for the Trump administration and the possibility that some of his actions, particularly with HUD, could threaten the viability of projects like this one?
Listen, we're going, JD, you know, we're going through the budgeting process with our department heads right now. We're looking and planning for all things that are at risk right now. We have our own $1 billion budget deficit as we speak that we have to tackle, and we will. I'm at work with my partners in the federal, like Senator Padilla, legislators up in Sacramento. I'm actually going to Sacramento after this to talk to them. We're going to be prepared for whatever comes our way.
I'll just add a little bit to that. What you're seeing here is an example of the complexity of the challenge that, as we see it. It's not just a city or county issue. It's not just a state issue. It's not just a federal issue. It requires all of us working together. A couple of other examples of what we know does not help. The threat to close the HUD regional office in the Bay Area, that's not helpful. So we've got to call it out, push back, and maintain those resources here locally. The hiring freezes or the indiscriminate firing that we've seen in other parts of the federal government, even if it means not a cut but a delay in somebody, including seniors, getting the voucher that they need or the assistance that they need for housing, that could mean the difference between getting to next month or ending up on the streets temporarily, long-term, or otherwise. So we're fighting for those resources, fighting for the staffing, and fighting for local leadership of HUD here in the Bay Area.
About this event, it highlighted some of the strategies that you're going to be pursuing to boost affordable housing production in the city. Two of those that was mentioned was your upzoning program as well as Permit SF. I'm wondering if you could explain a little bit further how those programs will contribute to the production of more affordable housing.
Yeah, so just to be clear, it's our family zoning plan. Throughout the city, we have to meet a state mandate that has come down from Sacramento, but it's not just about meeting a state mandate. It's about building for future generations so that San Franciscans and their kids can live here for decades and generations to come, and so that we build more housing for our seniors. On the other point that you asked me about Permit SF, Ned Siegel's here with us, our Housing and Economic Development head, working to make sure that permitting is more certain, that we get through it more quickly. It should be months, not years. Right now, some of our teachers waited 7 years for affordable housing. That is unacceptable. And so we're going to tackle the permitting that has caused delays for far too long. We're going to make it more certain for people so that they know what is possible to be built. And then we also need help, once again, from our federal partners and from our state partners as well.
Zoning, obviously, with affordable housing, the most important ingredient is additional funding, and upzoning doesn't necessarily address that issue or address the possible loss of funding from HUD.
No, listen, family zoning is one piece, making sure we get interest rates coming down, which would also be helpful for building and for construction. But also what's really important is that everybody knows what we all are starting to see, that San Francisco's on the rise, that we have clean and safe streets, that we're welcoming small business back, we're welcoming big business back. We're seeing great news on that front this week. 4 really excellent examples with JP Morgan Chase doubling down. Pier 29 is going to be a thriving arts and culture center. We just had the largest real estate entity in the world alongside Divco West Blackstone just bought a new office building downtown, over $100 million, and they're keeping it as office space because they believe in our comeback. And so we have to do all of the above. We need help, and I'm so appreciative of Senator Padilla being here in San Francisco with us. I look forward to working with him for years to come to make sure that we get that help from the federal government that we need.
So tangentially, so many people have their retirement tied up in the market. So wanted to get your take on the administration appears to be backing off plans to fire the Fed chair, seems to be backing a little bit off of the tariffs, but some would argue the damage has already been done. Where do we go from here?
Yeah. Look, it's promising in the short term that they seem to be backing off these tariff threats. But if the last few months have been any indicator, frankly, if the last 10 years are any indicator, there's still the uncertainty because Donald Trump can change his mind at any point. And so this whiplash of tariffs on, tariffs off for 90 days, we don't know what's going on, is having a real impact. When we talk about the impact on the stock market, it's not just, I'm not here standing sympathetic to Wall Street traders, but I am sympathetic to 401ks and pensions that seniors rely on to survive, or for anybody who may have been a year, 2 or 3 away from retirement, looking forward to it, who now thinks maybe I have to work a couple of years longer because I don't know if my retirement fund is still going to be there. So I'm going to be one of the voices staying on top of the administration to make sure that they don't just back off the tariffs temporarily and cause the same chaos in a few weeks or in a few months, but that they settle down on smart economic policy with the input of Congress.
And
Okay, yeah, we got to run.
time for one more for the mayor. I'm sorry, just because there is sort of this uncertainty about what that picture is going to look like, and it's like you're trying to build a budget without trying to build a puzzle without all the pieces. If you could speak to the challenge of that right now, not knowing exactly what that's going to look like. I know we talked a couple of days ago. You said it's not $1 billion, it's billions, but it's hard to say exactly how much.
Yeah, and so Christian, I've said this every single time that I've been asked this question. I can only control what is in front of me, and that's another few weeks of negotiating with our friends in the nonprofit sector, with labor, making sure that we do everything that we can to protect core services here in San Francisco, deliver core services, making sure our streets are safe, that they're clean. That's going to be my focus and my priority. And I mean, as the senator just said, every few minutes things change. And so what doesn't change is what's in front of us. We have to deliver a budget that is balanced by law to the supervisors by June 1st, which we will do. And then we will talk with them during that course of the month. But San Franciscans should know that my administration, my department heads, we're working tirelessly to put together a budget that will make sure that for the next, not only 2 years, but for the next handful of years, that we will have a fiscal outlook that they can be assured of, and that they can know that we will deliver core services for them for the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.